It's really canny that we are talking about flipping the script on uncertainty on Veterans Day, because just imagine the level of uncertainty that veterans and their family members have navigated um, in their role of serving our country. It's a really interesting. Many of them have navigated the unknown and found that inner strength, that inner calmness that enables them to move forward. So today, what I'd love to do, just to start us off, I'll give you, I'll run down the objectives and stuff and give you sort of a sense. But please feel free to interject, ask questions, interrupt. I don't know everything, but this is a really fascinating concept in my mind. And I think you'll learn that you actually navigate uncertainty quite often as we go through this. So I just dropped in chat a question.
Right now it's late.
Love to have you come off mute, or if you're more comfortable dropping in chat, that's fine. What are some feelings and thoughts you experience when you face or have faced uncertainty? What comes up? Frozen. Yeah, right? It's just like, oh, that amygdala hijack. Panic, wanting to move quickly to action. It's like, let me get past this, right? Anxiety, frozen, worried, not going to make the best decision. All of those things. And that's the fun part in many ways of what we're going to be chatting about. And I'm excited to be here. So heaviness, triggered traumas, right? Maybe something from the past or some experience. Okay, so one thing I'd like to do before I really jump into this is just acknowledge each of you and your commitment to curiosity and your commitment to growth, because you wouldn't be in this field if you weren't committed to continually moving forward. So here's our agenda, the objectives. I'm just going to touch on these briefly. Part of what we want to recognize is the sources of uncertainty, right? And the psychological impact of that. And as we saw in the chat, for many of us, it triggers our brain's threat response. We might go into freeze, flight, fight. And it's natural. It's natural for us to maybe go heads down and try and power through, or to really be frozen in place. And there's ways for us to navigate and really kind of flip that script from that stress response, that overwhelm or anxiety response, to our strength, our calmness, our grounding, etc. And that's part of what we're going to talk about. But let's begin with a definition. So this is the definition that we're using to basically define for ourselves uncertainty. It involves unpredictability in outcomes, a lack of clarity about cause and effect, which might muddy the water around what's the right decision to make here. It's a lack of sureness or knowledge about something or someone, especially an outcome or a result. So as you look at this, does this resonate? Is there anything you would expand on or add to this definition? Any thoughts? It must be resonating.
I almost think when you talk about unpredictability, and I think about, well, gosh, what are those things that are predictable? I mean, maybe when you
Right?
really drill down, it's like, are there that many things that are predicted? There is so much unpredictability.
That's right. That's right.
So does that mean that there's just so much uncertainty? Because then I'm like, oh my God, I have to be certain about some things, right?
Well, there's certain things you are certain about, right? As far as your own being and your own self. But what we want to recognize, to your point, Margaret, is there's a lot more uncertainty. There's a lot more complexity in the world than there was in the past,
Right.
right? Right. And it's like, okay, so how can I view uncertainty, unpredictability as more of an opportunity versus as a threat,
Got it.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And for me, I find it really important to acknowledge that uncertainty may result from external unpredictable factors like the weather or merger or maybe a difficult relationship, or it can also come from or emanate from internal factors like, ooh, I don't know how I'm going to have this difficult conversation with Emma or whatever it is. It's some of that internal angst that we might experience. So it can come from both places, external and internal. What I'd like to do is introduce this slide to you. This is something from Jennifer Garvey Berger. And what it does, it kind of builds on what you were bringing forward there, Margaret. Basically, a common source of unpredictability, right, is the fact that we are leaning much more into this space of complexity and in some cases chaos. And quite often, we perhaps as coaches, but certainly a lot of our clients, have an assumption that it's more complicated, more predictable, like we can find the solution. And what we want to be able to see is that actually it's a blend of things that we're actually dealing with. Make sense? So, um, uncertainty has a huge cognitive price tag. We might feel very tired. We might feel very overwhelmed. And what we ultimately need is some downtime, right? And so I'm sharing this slide just to give us some additional perspective as to why we and our clients may be grappling with elevated levels of uncertainty and not necessarily feel as it's a good thing. The point being that in an unpredictable world, we are still at choice. We can respond from a stance of confusion or stress, or we can respond more from a stance of agility. All right. So complexity or unpredictability, uncertainty, it makes a demand on our capacity to see beyond our expertise, beyond our ability to predict, and really um, engages us or asks us to be curious about more perspectives. And this applies to our clients as well. So as we grow in our capacity to handle complexity, we grow in our capacity to deal with uncertainty. We are less driven by our need to bring expertise and answers to every problem, which actually is a huge benefit for coaches, right? Because in theory, our role is to help our clients come up with their own solutions to whatever problems or dilemmas that they're dealing with. So what I'm going to do is I am going to share a short, it's about 2 minutes, a short video clip. And as I do this, let me see if I can get, the sound should work just fine. As I do this, it's kind of a fun way. What I'd like to invite you to do is to, in the moment, experience uncertainty through this video clip and just see what sensations, what thoughts, what feelings do you experience? All right, let's see if this will play.
On the 13th minute of the 13th hour, the 13th Apollo mission was launched. A million things could have gone wrong.
Our next broadcast will be from the surface of the moon.
On April 13th, one did.
Houston, we have a problem.
We got a wicked shimmy up here.
Houston, we are venting something out into space. It's definitely a gas of some sort.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
It must be the oxygen.
You see what I see?
Flight. Their heart rates are skyrocketing.
We have a 401 alarm. That can't be real.
Man, it is fighting me. Jack, what's the story there?
I keep losing radio signal. That can't happen. It's got to be instrumentation.
And we got some serious time pressure here. We're looking at less than 15 minutes of life support left.
Like they're all over the place.
Damn, we're losing it.
We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch.
Okay. So what sensations, what feelings, what thoughts went through your mind if you were in the shoes of one or more of those individuals?
I had like tingling and worry.
Yeah, tingling and worry. I mean, I get the heebie-jeebies. I call them the heebie-jeebies. Others?
Time to pray.
Afraid?
It's,
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's time to pray.
Oh, time to pray. Yeah,
time to
yeah.
pray. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, a lot of unknown, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of ooh, right? Okay. So let me bring my slides back up. There are two concepts, primary areas that I'm going to cover here. When we think about uncertainty and sort of the impact that it has, I'm just trying to reorient you guys on my screen. So there are two primary contributors, how we respond to uncertainty. Our self-awareness, right? More specifically, how our brain operates, which is our brain really likes predictability and simplicity. So it's natural for us to experience a sense of stress or overwhelm or unease when we perceive that we don't have control, right? If we perceive that we can't really predict the outcome, that we might make a mistake, and this goes for our clients as well as ourselves, most of us will experience feelings of stress or anxiety, right? While others might experience feelings of being energized or excited based on how we are interpreting that in our brains. When we are feeling overwhelmed or anxious, we basically need to reset, reground. That's one of the ways for us to be able to navigate through that and kind of relax that amygdala hijack. Simultaneously, our thoughts can get fired up, right? And those thoughts may run the gamut of, I don't know which is the best option here, or I can't make a clear decision, to, oh, I see a real opportunity here. Can go either way. What I think is particularly important is recognizing that we are always at choice. We have choice. Then the second area we're going to explore is embracing learning by developing skills and capabilities. And I've got a framework that we'll use there. We'll have 2 breakout discussions today. But let's start by, let me just pause. Does anyone have any comments or questions? Okay, so let's identify some sources of uncertainty. When you are faced with uncertainty, some of us embrace it as opportunity, stepping into it, and others of us may view it as anxiety provoking or even maybe insurmountable, and we might step back or freeze. And again, it's natural. But love to have some, you can drop it in chat or come off mute. What are some of the things that create a sense of uncertainty for you?
This is not what, sorry, my camera's not on, but the holidays.
The holidays. Oh, right around the corner too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else? Boy, we have a lot of people that don't have too much concern about uncertainty. So this slide is
in the chat. Sorry, in the chat we have a couple of response.
Sorry. Oh, war.
War, financial, work worries, managing bandwidth, the state of our country, economics, finances. So a lot of good responses there.
Yeah. Thanks for catching that, Mike. Yeah. Because it is. There's financial security, what's happening in the environment around us, as well as potentially, even how well will this conversation go with so and so? It can be all sorts of things. Women's rights, trusting people to do the right thing, or the thing that would help the most people, right? Yeah. The important thing to, one of the important things to recognize is that uncertainty, again, may be generated externally, fear about war, financial stability, education, or it might be internal factors, right? Our thoughts and our feelings. Will I be valued? Will I be out of work? Will AI take over? All those types of things. But what I'd like to do is introduce the first framework to support us as we're thinking through situations that may actually generate this sense of stress that often is stress or anxiety that often is attached to this feeling that we really don't have control. We have this uncertainty. So our first step here is to simply notice it. Notice the feeling or the sensation in our body, right? And then naming it. Naming something increases our sense of agency and engages a different part of our brain, reducing that fear or that anxiety. And to the extent we're able to sit with a feeling and have a little bit of self-compassion, we can put it in perspective. We might even notice. Usually feelings will dissipate within 60 seconds. So you might notice that that feeling starts to dissipate, and you get a sense that you can live through it, so to speak, right? The third step here is normalizing it, recognizing that others are experiencing similar things, similar uncertainties, and acknowledging that it isn't happening only to me. It isn't bad, bad, bad. Others have similar uncertainties, and I'm not alone in this. And there's opportunity to nurture it, nurture our concern, reframe, and then nurture it. So when I'm talking about reframing, it's like, how can I put this in a different perspective and regain control by recognizing that I do in fact have choice here with regards to how I respond, right? So it's an invitation. Uncertainty, in my view, is an invitation for us to grow, to be in that learning zone, to be curious about what might the opportunity be here. If this door closes, what's the window that's going to open? And then nurturing the opportunity to use small steps, tests, experiments, whatever word works for you the most, to engage in and test out maybe a more empowering mindset. Okay. Thoughts or questions on this? Because in a moment, you're going to be playing with an aspect of this. Okay. So let's start with feelings. So the invitation here is to think of a recent situation where you felt a level of uncertainty. And when you are faced with uncertainty, what feelings do you notice? Are they the feelings on the left or on the right, the top, the bottom? And we saw some of those feelings earlier, right? Fear, frozen. So love a show of hands or a comment. How many folks feel like you are on the unpleasant side, which is the blue and red? Mainly left, between red and blue. Yep. And do we have any folks that strong red feelings? Okay. Do we have any folks that seem to gravitate more to the yellow and green? Not yet. Okay. We do. Wendy. Wendy has a green. Okay. So, and it depends on the uncertainty, right? I love surprises, good surprises. Right. Okay. So we've got sort of a variety, and it does to a great extent depend, right, on do I perceive this as a good uncertainty or as a scary uncertainty? What are the thoughts? How does uncertainty affect your thoughts? What assumptions do you make? Anyone? Yeah, so some uncertainty is an opening for greater. Others, it's never good, right? It's like, oh, it's never good. It helps me think more deeply, right? So it can serve a really great purpose. I think we tend to think the worst possible scenario will happen. And that's part of our natural brain function. It just automatically wants to protect us. All right. So let's see here. When we are faced with uncertainty, we want to recognize both the emotions and the thoughts or assumptions. So what I'm going to do here is in a moment, I'm going to pop you into a breakout room. The intention here is to recognize that we often have some limiting beliefs or assumptions. We saw some of those come up in the chat. They just sort of crop up and they kind of hold us back from leaning into uncertainty and the possibility. And in other cases, for the person that likes surprises, good surprises, it's like, oh, this is a surprise. It's unpredictable, it was uncertain, but hey, let me check it out. So this is one of the frameworks that can be very helpful, especially with those sort of internal factors associated with uncertainty. Those things that we say to ourselves, we assume or we believe, the story we tell ourselves, right? So in a moment, Mike will pop you into breakouts. And what I'd like you to do is two things. One, I'd like you to fill in the bottom line for yourself. What are those thoughts or that assumption or belief that tends to be my go-to? And then work on reframing it to something more empowering. And so I gave you one example here at the top, and then I jotted in a couple of others in case someone can't think of one. But in your conversation in the breakout room, what I'd like you to do is share yours and support each other in looking at how can you reframe that for you in a way that will be beneficial. And if you have time, you can work on adding the others or capturing some ideas on some of the others. Any questions on this? Okay, so let me see if I can actually drop this slide in chat for you before so that you have it. Bear with me for just a moment. Okay, so that should work. So I'm dropping that into chat so that you can kind of take it with you if you'd like. All right, Mike, just teams of two, if you will, and about 5 minutes.
Okay, here we go.
So Mike, it looks like iPhone 2 and Deborah may not have landed in a room yet. And I don't know, Maeve is by herself. I'm going to try to move her down to 7 or 8.
Okay, so for some reason we had lost room 7, so I reassigned
Yeah.
her to a different room.
Okay. Yeah, there.
So I got a timer going. So
Okay. Yeah, Deborah hadn't joined, and Maeve was on her own, so I moved her down into the lens.
got it. Okay,
I'm not sure what the iPhone 2 one is.
no worries. So I just gave them a 1 minute warning,
Okay,
and then I will, right when that minute is up, I'll just close all the rooms.
perfect. Okay.
Okay, I'm about to close all the rooms right now.
All right. Thank you.
Oh, that actually gives everyone 60 seconds. I thought it allowed, I thought, so, okay.
The override.
New learning for me.
Yeah, yeah. I sometimes adjust set mine at 30 seconds because I'll forget. Welcome back, Patty.
Thank you.
So we think we've just about captured, we'll be capturing everyone here in like 30 seconds. At least we hope.
Yeah, the countdown says 10 seconds. So we should
Okay, okay.
we should be there just about right now.
That's right. It was 52 when I left.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So love to have one or two shares. Anyone that would be willing to share a statement you came up with.
I'll go.
Okay.
Mine is oh God, here we go. This can't be good.
Yep.
It could be
That's
anything.
that story, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm a New Yorker. I'm from New York, so I'm cynical at, typically anyway. But then my reframe is like, well, what good can come of this, right? Like, it might be negative initially. Like your initial feelings of this sucks, right? Like I lost my job last year. It freaking sucked. Like losing my health insurance, losing like my prestigious corporate job. And now I'm coaching and I love it and I'm happy and I'm building my startup and like, yeah. So yeah, I want, looking at the positive, right? Like this initial dreariness. Oh, it's like horrible, but wait a minute, like unpeel the onion. What does that look like? Really?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's something good that's going to come out of this is part of what I'm hearing there, Patty.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's part of that reframe. It's that initial, ooh, it's like, okay, how can I reframe this so that I can move past it? Yeah, or through it. How about one more? Who else? Who's the next brave soul willing to share?
Nikki and I talked about, and we were in a little bit similar spaces of, things don't have to, be in a really pretty box and put a bow on it. It's like, enjoy the moment, enjoy the season, enjoy the things to come, enjoy family instead of, oh, I need to do laundry or, oh, I need to do this. It's like, just pause.
Yeah. It's kind of like this too will pass, right? It's like it doesn't have to be wrapped up in a pretty box.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. The other thing, when you think about for those of you, and I assume pretty much everyone is in the role of coach, when you think about your role as a coach and a client comes to you for a coaching session, how predictable is that session?
It's not.
It's not, right? It's not. So each of you are already exercising that adaptability mindset, navigating the unpredictability of your client, right? Different every time, right?
Mhm.
So you've got this muscle. I just want to sort of highlight that. Okay, and you're practicing it. All right, so let's take a look at this next part two, if you will, skills and capabilities. So this is another aspect of, recognizing that while our brain wants simplicity, we're actually dealing with complexity quite often. And we can look at the skills and capabilities for dealing with uncertainty. And I always love using these wheels as tools where we can like build out an assessment to support our clients. So what I'd love for you to do is just take 2 minutes, because you're going to go into a breakout after the 2 minutes. Individually identify your existing, kind of feel like your gut instinct of what level do I have in this particular area. So let me drop this in chat to make it easier for you, or try to drop it in chat. Okay, so I'm dropping that in chat, and it has a little bit of instruction, and I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes. And I recognize that if you're a solopreneur, some of these may not be completely applicable to your work, but still could be applicable in your family or your community, if not in your coaching engagements. So I'm going to be quiet for 2 minutes, and Mike's going to keep me on track, and then I'll move you into a breakout discussion in a moment. Any questions on what I'm asking you to do?
So we're supposed to determine which of these areas we are like we identify with the most.
Yeah, well, so what you would do is you would either draw on or indicate where, from 1 to 10, how strong you feel you're capable in each of these areas.
Oh, I see.
And,
Okay.
and you might get like a little bit of a design going, right?
Okay.
And I dropped it in chat as well.
And I'm going to send everyone to a new breakout room at this point in time where you're going to get the chance to discuss and share.
Yeah, so
Correct?
hold on 1 second for me.
Okay.
And let me just bring up the next slide. So this is the breakout discussion. Okay. Share with each other an area that you feel you're most skilled in, and kind of like how that shows up. An area where you're not yet as skilled as you would like to be, and maybe brainstorm what could you potentially do, and support each other in that potential growth area. Okay.
So is 10 is your highly skilled and 1 is your least skilled?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Great question. Thank you. Okay. So I'm just gonna cut and paste these questions into chat so that you have them also. All right, Mike, you should be able to send them on their merry way. You have about 8 minutes to have this discussion.
Okay, I copied and pasted the questions and broadcast them to all the chat rooms.
Lovely.
Um,
They
so
don't
that
see them when I drop them in chat. You have to
they do
actually
see
put them
them.
in
I just did
hands.
that as an extra
Extra.
effort
Perfect.
to
Perfect.
to try to get more going there. And it does look like we got everybody in the rooms. Um, just as an FYI, when we come back from the breakout rooms, it'll be about 52.
Okay. So I'm going to, let me look at my, it'll be about 52. So that gives us 8. Yeah, so I'll be super brief on, I won't be able to really debrief with them.
Okay.
But I think the conversation actually is what's super valuable.
Yeah, I think frankly just the idea of okay, I'm having this conversation, I'm thinking about it, talking about it with a couple other people. I may not get to a resolution, that's okay. Um, but now I have this as a tool that I can use.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm going to give them 2 other pieces that they can use. But I'll be brief on the Rumsfeld one because we won't have time to go into that in depth. I'll just speak to it.
Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, that should work. And I'm kind of amazed at I've done this a couple of different times and I have never seen consistency in participation. You go one session and everybody's coming
Mute.
off mute and chatting. Another everybody is just in the chat, and this group seems to be a little bit of a mixture, probably a little heavier on the chat than on the speaking out loud. But even so, as we've gone, you see a lot more um, people willing to speak. It's for whatever reason we seem to as humans in general. I don't want to be the first one.
Yeah, it's like we don't want to it's like yeah, it's really interesting.
So, and I set my timer this time. So when I hit the close the rooms, I built in an extra minute in there. So,
Okay, so
um,
you back engineered it.
I back engineered it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you handling all the breakout rooms. That makes it just one less thing for me to navigate.
It is my pleasure. It is my pleasure. Um, I know hosting these kinds of events is not trying to manage all kinds of different things is not easy. So,
Right.
um, you're juggling quite a bit. So that's one little part I can help with. I'm happy to do so. All right, I'm hitting the 1 minute close all rooms.
Perfect.
To me, that's a good sign that they're having a good discussion when no one comes back immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. When we're able to get them into a breakout discussion as early as possible, I think that just opens things up for folks
Yes.
because they get into these conversations like time just flies.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back. I bet you were like, could we just stay another couple minutes?
Yes.
All right. Mike's going to keep me on track with time, but I wanted to just invite one share. What idea or thought came up in your discussions that it's like, oh, everyone should think about it.
We were talking a lot about nurture and how a lot of our reactions to change and pressure has to do with how we were brought up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so examining why we're reacting in certain ways. Like I come from competitive sports. So if you yell at me and you tell me what to do, I'm going to perform my best. But that doesn't work for everybody.
Right. Right. Well, and I think there's also the piece around recognizing that what served us in the past may not serve us as well in the future. And that's also an important part around how do I want to reframe this for myself. All right, I'm trying to put the wheel back in chat for someone's request. All right, I'm going to bring my slides back up. Thank you so much, Maria, for sharing that. And we are going to kind of do the fast track here. You should feel free, if you would like to take a print screen of this, please feel free to do so. So this is some of the ways we can go about developing some of those capabilities and skills that you identified in the wheel, right? The two that I'd like to point out in particular are the last two. Right? Feeling stressed out, practice self-care, practice breathing, get some exercise, anything to really reset. And then, of course, change is everywhere, right? So we learn to let go of the old and sort of visualize those possibilities and really lean into practicing reframing. So to help us break uncertainty into more manageable parts, I have one final tool that I'm going to share. That's the Rumsfeld Matrix. And again, feel free to take a print screen if you would like. The Rumsfeld Matrix can help bring clarity by breaking things down into more manageable parts and identifying what assumptions need validation. And we've got 4 types here: the known knowns, the things we know, the known unknowns, the things we know we don't know. We also have the unknown knowns, things we don't realize we know, but can be surfaced, which is a big piece of our role when we're coaching or being coached. Like, how do we surface some of these things? And that puts a smaller bucket of unknown unknowns, things we just, we don't know, and we're going to find out kind of like after the fact. What types of questions might you ask a client to help them surface the unknown knowns? Box 3. What kind of questions might you ask to support a client? Any ideas?
I will probably ask, like, is there something you're really good at?
Okay. Something you're really good at. What else? We're stretching our brains here. Two that come to mind for me is, what is the greatest opportunity here? Right? It's like, oh, I don't see anything. It's like, what's the hardest thing about this? Or if you knew, what would it be? We're helping folks tap into other resources within themselves.
This is more negative, but what if you say something like, especially like in business, it's usually like, what are the risks with this, right? What if this doesn't come to play? Like what are the alternatives that you can go with?
Yeah, yeah. So part of what you're doing there, Patty, is you're inviting them to look at this from different lenses, right? Different perspectives. What are the risks, and how would we mitigate that?
Yes.
What other opportunities are there that we might not yet be seeing? So all of those expansive kind of questions are really helpful. Okay. The other thing to know about this particular framework is that we can prioritize significant sources of uncertainty, and it also gives us the ability, kind of a systematic way, to eliminate most uncertainties, right? So that we can make better informed decisions in general. So that's my 2 cents on that one. One of the big takeaways, and it's come up a couple times in here, you can see here, Jennifer Garvey Berger says that leading in uncertain times requires us to evoke a positive emotional state, right? How do we basically down-regulate when we're noticing that we've got an elevated level of stress or anxiety? And there's a bunch of different ones here as suggestions. Again, you can take a print screen of this. And many of them are probably already common to you, but are you practicing them? Are they serving you? Are we resetting and then moving forward? Anything anyone would add to this list? It's a nice, robust list to work with, right? Okay. So before we wrap up, just want to share this quote from Gilda Radner, as I feel it really captures the essence of uncertainty and the gist of possibility. And it's basically a fact of life, and it's like, okay, am I adaptable or am I frozen? How do I move into being that more adaptable person? A commitment. So I really like this particular quote because it invites us to slow down, to pause, notice the space where we have choice and the opportunity to grow. So I want to just give you like 30 seconds to jot down for yourself, what is your commitment? What's the golden nugget? What's the one thing you want to test out or try out when you notice that you're experiencing maybe a level of stress or anxiety, a level of uncertainty? And our final little wrap up, which actually is right at the top of the hour. Any questions? I was hoping to have a couple minutes here at the end, but hey.
I'll make it quick. So I created it's not even a circle. It looks like an amoeba. I don't even know what it is. So is there any meaning behind those or not really?
So are you talking about how you drew it in?
Yes, my skilled areas. Yeah.
So what it tells you is when you look at that, you can say, oh, I like to complete everything before I let go. It's like, so, okay, maybe I need to do a little bit around control or adaptability. And then on that second slide that had some different examples, that gives you some ideas with regards to what you might do to build in your capability. But it's a snapshot. It's a point in time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So Mike, I'm going to hand it back over to you. Oh, I feel like I would ask about something they may have been. Okay, that was in response to something else, I think.
Yeah, I just thank you again, Carmen, for your time and for preparing this, and thanks for all of our participants. One of the things we like to do in our chapter is when we have a presentation, can I get like maybe one or two volunteers to say, hey, you know what, this is something I really, really enjoyed, or something I really learned, or something I'm gonna take away. If we can get one or two people to share a takeaway or a thank you, that would be tremendous.
I'm seeing thank yous popping up in chat.
I'd love to
Yes,
share
that is
one.
great.
All the different frameworks that you shared, Carmen, were really helpful. The visual and I come from an educational background, and that's just so helpful for all the different styles of processing and learning that people have. So thank you for sharing all those.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think this is super timely. So you know what's going on. And typically, you know, webinars, the leadership is typically, you know, rinse, wash, and repeat, so to speak. So this was awesome.
Yeah. And it's all these things are at your fingertips, right? It's like, oh gosh, I can frame this or for a discussion even with a client, or you know, with a if you have a mastery group or whatever. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you for carving out the time for this. And I wish you well.
Thank you.
All right.
Right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Thank you, Carmen. I really appreciate it. Tremendous job.
Yeah. Enjoy the holidays, everyone.
Okay.